So you think of buying a Raspberry Pi or have already bought one because your geek friend has one and he uses it to build cool projects. Or you've recently been following some tech news and have heard how the credit-sized computer board has helped to teach kids from disadvantaged communities how to code. Or might have seen the news of the Raspberry Pi 4 that supports dual HDMI monitors with an upgraded 4 gig RAM, thought to be a reasonable alternative to an ordinary desktop PC. So now that you have it too, you start to wonder what to do with it next. Welcome to the Tech Bookworm channel. This channel is dedicated to bridging the gap between learning a new tech concept and your first successful application of the concept. This series is titled My Raspberry Pi Experience and documents my getting started journey with the Raspberry Pi credit-sized computer board. In this episode, I'll show you how to set up the Raspberry Pi for the first time. We'll discuss the hardware requirements needed to run the Pi and how to download and install the OS used to run this computer. I encourage you to follow all the episodes in this series. The first 2 episodes are introductory, so as we proceed with the series, expect more hands-on approach in programming using the Raspberry Pi's pre-installed programming languages such as Python. Don't forget to subscribe and like the videos if you want to help this channel grow. But first, what is a Raspberry Pi? According to Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, the Raspberry Pi is a series of small single-board computers developed in the United Kingdom by the Raspberry Pi Foundation to promote teaching of basic computer science in schools and in developing countries. The Raspberry Pi was developed by Ibn Atem in 2006, but even for the then standards, it was rather basic, underdeveloped, and roughly matching the BBC Micro developed in the 1980s. It wasn't up until 2009 that the Raspberry Pi Foundation was formed as a UK-based charity organization with the mission of giving people the knowledge and tools to create computer software and hardware. In 2011, the foundation unveiled a prototype smaller and different to what we're accustomed to today, but in 2012, would launch the Raspberry Pi 1 Model B, a commercial version that resembles more of what we are used to today in terms of features. The Pi 1 sold like crazy, making more than 100,000 orders on the first day. Following the success of the Pi 1, the foundation kept on innovating as they brought us the Pi 2, 3, and as of June 2019, the Pi 4. The Pi also coming in different form factors such as the Pi Zero, suitable for compact projects, and the compute module for heavy computing. Now back to getting started with the Pi. For this series, we'll be using the Raspberry Pi 3 Model B+, but you should be able to follow along with any Raspberry Pi version you may have. The first thing you might want to do when you finally receive your Pi is to ensure you have all the accessories necessary to operate the board. This includes a recommended minimum of 8 gig Class 4 or Class 10 micro SD card. To save time, you can get a card that is pre-installed with Noobs or Raspbian, although setting up your own card is easy. The second thing is to set up a display. Any HDMI or DVI monitor or TV should work as a display for the Pi. For best results, use a display with HDMI input. Third, you need a keyboard and mouse. Any standard USB keyboard and mouse will work with your Raspberry Pi, wireless keyboards and mice will work if already paired. Next, you need a power supply. The Pi is powered by a USB micro power supply. Like most standard mobile phone chargers, you need a good quality power supply that can supply at least 2 amps at 5 volts for the Model B and 3B+, 700 milliamps at 5 volts for the earlier, lower powered Pi models. It is recommended to use the Raspberry Pi power supply, which is designed specifically for the Raspberry Pi. Low current, around 700 mA power supplies will work for basic usage but are likely to cause the Pi to reboot if it draws too much power. They are not suitable for use with the Pi 3 or 4. The following are optional but nonetheless important for a seamless experience. So you can include an Ethernet cable used to connect your Pi to a local network and internet. Audio can be played through speakers and headphones using the standard 3.5mm jack. Please note that no separate audio LED is necessary if you're using an HDMI cable to connect to a monitor with speakers, as audio can be played directly through the display, but it is possible to connect an audio LED if you prefer the audio played through other speakers. If you have all the necessary hardware accessories available, then it's time to set up the software. Beginners should start with Noobs, which gives the user a choice of operating system from the standard distributions. The recommended distribution for normal use is Raspbian. Alternatives are available such as LibreLac, Kodi Media Center, or Arch Linux. New out-of-the-box software, Noobs for short, is an easy OS installation manager for the Raspberry Pi. Noobs is available for download on the Raspberry Pi website. Once you've downloaded the Noobs zip file, you'll need to copy the contents to a formatted SD card on your computer. To set up a blank SD card with Noobs, format an SD card which is 8 GB or larger as a FAT. If you are a Windows user, it is recommended to format your SD card using the SD Association's formatting tool, which can be downloaded from sdcard.org. The SD Association's formatting tool is also available for Mac users. Download and extract the files from the Noobs zip file. Copy the extracted files onto the SD card that you just formatted so that this file is at the root directory of the SD card. Remove the SD card from your PC, insert it into the Raspberry Pi's SD card slot. Connect the HDMI monitor and last connect the power cable, which should now start booting up the Pi. The first boot, the recovery FAT partition will be automatically resized to a minimum and a list of OSs that are available to install will be displayed. You will be greeted by a screen with different operating systems. The operating systems currently included in Noobs are Raspbian, LibreLac, OSMC, and so many more. As of Noobs v1.3.10 September 2014, only Raspbian is installed by default in Noobs. The others can be installed with a network connection, so go ahead and select the Raspbian OS and click install. The Pi should take around 10 minutes to install the OS, after which you'll be greeted by a user interface with familiar tabs, icons, etc. like a normal desktop PC. You are now ready to use the Pi, but what exactly can you do on this Raspberry Pi? On the next episode, we explore some of the features the Pi has, such as multimedia, programming, word processing, gaming, internet browsing, and many more. I encourage you to follow all the episodes in this series. The first 2 episodes are introductory, so as we proceed with the series, expect more hands-on approach in programming using the Raspberry Pi's pre-installed programming languages such as Python. Don't forget to subscribe and like the videos if you want to help this channel grow. Thanks for watching. See you in episode 2 of this series.